So further development of the golden egg continues. The Supreme Lord entered the golden egg, which was lying on the water, and then he divided into different parts. Part by part is being described, and the presiding deities who control those different parts were also manifest. And many details are given how what we see in this with our eyes are different parts of the Virat Purusha. Just like rivers are the veins, blood vessels of the Virat Purusha. Like that, the sun is the eyes of the Virat Purusha. Coming from the eyes of the Virat Purusha, his eyes must be very big. Here it says this sun comes from his eyes. So his eyes must be very big, Virat Purusha's eyes. So all this information that we get is from the transcendental source, a descending process. That is why there is a word for this. The Vedic knowledge is called Paurusheya. That means these are revealed knowledge. Just like I gave the example of the elephant yesterday. Our senses are designed for something else. Our senses are designed for living here. Our senses are not designed to understand the Virata, to realize or see the Virata Purusha. We are supposed to live with our senses, engage our senses, get liberated from this material world. However, these descriptions are given in terms of the glories of the greatness of the Lord and His energy and His power, and the fact that He is the creator. Before even Shiva, before even Brahma, all that, He is a creator. And that creation happens in the form of a Virat Purusha, where different parts of the body are manifest, eyes, ears, etc., which we read through, and many more to continue. And finally, 9 o'clock. You will see that rest of the verses, different demigods, presiding deities, they all enter the Virat Purusha. But then the Virat Purusha does not wake up. The next verse. When the demigods and the presiding deities of the various senses were thus manifested, they wanted to wake their origin of appearance. But upon failing to do so, they re-entered the body of Virat Purusha, one after another, in order to wake him. Purport. In order to wake the sleeping deity controller within, one has to rechannel the sense activities from concentration on outside to concentration inside. In the following verses, the sense activities which are required to wake the Virat Purusha will be explained very nicely. Vakhnirvacha mukham bebe no nodastistat tada virat grahanena nasike vayur nodatishtat tada virat. The god of fire entered his mouth with the organ of speech, but the Virat Purusha could not be aroused. Then the god of wind entered his nostrils with the sense of smell, but still the Virat Purusha refused to be awakened. Akshini chakshushadityo notististat tada virat srotrena karnau cha disho nodatistat tada virat. The sun god entered the eyes of the Virat Purusha with the sense of sight, but still the Virat Purusha did not wake up. Similarly, the predominating deities of the direction entered through the ears with the sense of hearing, but still he did not get up. त्वचं रोमभिरशोध्यो औषध्यो नोदतिष्ठत्तदा विराट रेतसा शिष्णसापस्तु नोदतिष्ठत्तदा विराट. The predominating deities of skin, herbs and seasoning plants entered the skin of the Virat Purusha with the hair of the body. But cosmic being refused to get up even then. The god predominating over water entered his organ of generation with the faculties of procreation, but the Virat Purusha still would not arise. Godam mrityoraapanena nodististat tada virat hastavindro baleneva nodatistat tada virat. The god of death entered his anus with the organ of defecation, but the Virat Purusha could not be spurred to activity. The god Indra entered the hands and their power of grasping and dropping things, but Virat Purusha would not get up even then. Vishnur ghatyaiva charanam nodatishtat tada virat nadir nadyo lohitena nodistat tada virat. Lord Vishnu entered his feet with the faculty of locomotion, but Virat Purusha refused to stand up even then. The rivers entered his blood vessels with the blood and the power of circulation, but still the cosmic being would not be made to stir. Chutridbhyam udaram sindur nodastistada virat hridayam manasa chandro nodatistada virat. The ocean entered his abdomen with hunger and thirst, but the cosmic being refused to rise even then. The moon god entered his heart with the mind, but the cosmic being would not be aroused. Buddhya brahmapi hridayam nodatishtat virat rudro abhimatya hridayam nodastistat virat. Brahma also entered his heart and intelligence, but even then the cosmic being could not be privileged upon to get up. Lord Rudra also entered his heart with the ego, but even then the cosmic being did not stir. Chittena hridayam chaitya kshetrajna pravishadeda virat tadaiva purushaha saliladudattishtata. However, when the inner controller, the presiding deity over the consciousness, entered the heart with reason, at that very moment the cosmic being arose from the causal waters. Translation purport. When a man is sleeping, next one, yata prasuptam purusham pranen indriyam manaddiyaha prabhavanti vinayena notapayitam ojasa. When a man is sleeping, all his material senses, namely the vital energy senses for recording knowledge, senses for working the mind and intelligence, cannot arouse him. He can be aroused only when the super soul helps him. Purport. The explanation of Sankhya philosophy is described here in detail in the sense that the Virat Purusha, or the universal form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the original source of all various sense organs and their presiding deities. The relationship between the Virat Purusha and the presiding deities or the living entities are so intricate that simply by exercising the sense organs which are related to the presiding deities, the Virat Purusha cannot be aroused. It is not possible to arouse the Virat Purusha or to link with the Supreme Absolute Personality of Godhead by material activities. Only by devotion, service and detachment one can perform the process of linking with the Absolute. Last verse in the chapter, after describing all these things, details. Tamasmin pratyak atmanam diya yoga pravrittaya bhaktya viraktya jnanena vivichyat atmani chintayat. Therefore, through devotion, detachment and advancement in spiritual knowledge acquired through concentrated devotional service, one should contemplate that supreme super soul as present in every body, although simultaneously apart from it. Purport. One can realize the super soul within oneself. He is within one's body, but apart from the body. We'll read this verse, the long purport, the end. So, finally it comes to the point that till the Kshetrajna entered the body, Virat Purusha. Just like Krishna says, Kshetrajna is the knower of the body. In this body, the Jivatma is also knower and God is also knower, Vishnu is also knower. So Kshetrajna means Shirodakshaya Vishnu. Till he entered the Virat. So who is the soul of the universe? The universal body is Virat Purusha. So finally the soul has to enter. Soul is the Kshetrajna Pravishad Yada Virat Tadaiva Purushaha Saliladutattishtata. Woke up. So this human beings also with their body and their soul, they are created in the image of the Virat Purusha. So this entire material universe that we see, it has a soul. That soul is God. So this is a very preliminary understanding of God realization. But yet it is not a fact, it is not a fiction. Sometimes people think that this Virat Purusha is fictitious form. They say it is fictitious form, therefore you don't meditate. That's why Krishna told Arjuna, or Arjuna did not want that form. No, no, no. That is a particular rasa. He did not want that rasa. But the reality is that God has taken this material form, this material body. If we can take a material body, why God cannot take a material form? Right? He can take a material. When he takes a material form, then that is no longer material for him. For us it may be material. For him everything is spiritual. Something that does a function, a particular function, different from spiritual energy, that time you call it as material. What is that function? That function, what is the difference between the material energy and forget about matter? Matter is all spirit only. There is nothing like matter. Material energy, what is material energy? When that matter makes you forget Krishna, that becomes material energy. It's an energy. The substance of matter, everywhere, everything is belonging to Krishna. Krishna is the original owner of all energies. That is how we differ from the Mayavadi's explanation. They say Kshetrajna means you are that one Atman, Supreme Atman. There is only one Supreme Atman. And these are all Sankalpa, Maya Sankalpa. They don't exist. Matter don't exist. It is almost like the matrix philosophy. It's all software. At least matrix philosophy, there is a software, because software is a reality also. But Maya, the philosophy, no software, no hardware, nothing exists. Nirguna. Absolute. The absolute sense doesn't exist. Everything is Maya. Any detail means Maya. I, you means Maya. Maya means, okay, then Maya is a reality. No. The very definition of Maya is that it is illusion. It is absolute illusion. When we say it is Maya, we say that it is an illusion of a reality. According to Mayavada understanding, illusion means it is an absolute illusion. It does not exist at all. Only what exists is Atman. And that is also, and this also defines the impersonalists. They don't take what the Shastra says as absolute. You have to cross Shastras, you have to cross Guru, you have to cross varieties, you have to cross I, you, everybody. Then you realize that Nirguna Brahman. But we believe these are apaurushaya. There is, our understanding is of Maya is very clear. Maya is in the mind of somebody. Illusion means it is about perception, seeing. You see a rope as a snake. That means a seer is there. A rope is there. Snake is there. But you are seeing rope as a snake. This is called illusion, according to our understanding. In other words, we are seeing this material body to be like spiritual body. We are seeing this material world to be like spiritual world. Spiritual world also exists, material world also exists. Material world is material world, spiritual world is spiritual world. But we see just like rope as a snake. Rope exists, snake exists. Material world exists, spiritual world exists. But we see this when we are in bodily concept, when we see each other as body, and we have affection, we have love, we have relationship, all. These are all not absolute forms, not absolute relationships, etc. But they are all creating illusions of this spiritual world. So varieties are there, activities are there, and based on these varieties and activities, the living entity is inherently rasa seeking, seeking Satchidananda, and it's seeking here instead of seeking with the original place where we are also entitled for that. So anyway, this summarizes the except the last purport, how the Supreme Lord can take a material body, and that material body is a real body. Because this is real. In fact, this scientists should at least accept this. Because they accept this is real. So Virat Purusha is about this real. We are also saying this is real. So scientists are a little closer to us than Mayavadis. This is real. So they say we will only study Virat Purusha. Scientists are saying we will only study Virat Purusha. But that Virat Purusha also they don't reach because they don't understand the Manas, Buddhi and Ahankara. They'll say we'll only study the Panchabhuta. What is perceivable by our senses, that is a proof. Otherwise we will not. That is not, that's beyond science, that is a mythology, metaphysics, different words they give to it. Yesterday someone asked question about how Krishna takes the Virat form, which is of matter, and then to see that Krishna had to give divine eyes. But when Krishna came in his two-handed form, with ordinary eyes we could see him. So I didn't completely explain that. How is that with ordinary eyes we are able to see the divine Satchidananda form of the Lord? Whereas the Virat Purusha, which is a material form of the Lord, we need special eyes. The Lord, when He decides to come before our material eyes, being omnipotent, He can come before, He can manifest before our eyes by doing whatever is necessary. What is necessary? For us to see something, it has to be material energy, isn't it? We cannot see anything beyond material form, material name. We cannot see anything beyond that. So He has to come in that form. Just like we see the deity, He comes in the material, in the brass, stone, all. He comes in that form. Now the question remains, That okay, then that is also he is taking a material form. God is taking a material form. Okay, this God is inside the deity, but the deity is made of material energy. Yes, it is a fact. But the point that we need to understand is, when the Lord enters the material form of the deity, or a body, a live body, born of a mother, say take Lord Kapila or anybody, this chapter is about. The principle of Lord Kapila's body is the same as principle of the deity. So Lord Kapila had a body. He is the incarnation Supreme Lord, but he had a body of this material world. Then what is the difference? When we take a body, we are bound by it, we are ruled by the body. When Lord takes a body, he rules that body, just like he rules everything. He is a master of everything. And he takes a body for us. But when he takes a body for us, it doesn't mean that, like if I take this body, if the jiva takes a body, my soul does not have this form. I am only a knower of this body. When God takes a form, a body, he becomes that form parallel to this body. That means there is let's say if I had the facility, I have this body. My soul also takes an identical body. This is a principle of incarnation. It takes an identical body. For those who are seeing him with devotion, the matter that is there is not, it becomes transparent. Transparent means what? Suppose this is an opaque object. This is opaque. Opaque means this does not allow light to go. So it is visually opaque. Suppose this is a glass. Then you say that it is visually transparent, which means what is on the other side you can see. Isn't it? So in the same way, the matter becomes transparent, materially transparent, so that those who have devotion, for them, the matter of the deity or the matter body has no effect at all, because the person, they are only seeing what is, because this is transparent. What transparent means, that is the meaning of saying that spiritualized. Now you say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It is a sound of this matter body, because you produce with your tongue, right? But then the Lord also has his own Shabda, his own Swayam Shabda, simultaneously coexisting there. So those who cross the Nama Abhasa, they can go and touch the Shuddha Nama. This Abhasa is called shadow, the shadow of that name. So the material energy, so whatever we see in an incarnation with our eyes, you can say it is the shadow of the transcendental form of the Lord, which is identical to, let's say, Radha Krishna Chandra. Transcendental forms, shadow it is. But shadow is also spiritualized. The shadow does not affect a person whose perception is pure. Premanjana bhakti vilochanena santa sadaiva hridayam vilokayanti. The eyes of devotion makes the material energy transparent, because it is not material energy. Once the Lord has entered, what is it? The Lord is Satchidananda. That means there cannot be any three gunas in the body of the deity. Objectively, there cannot be any three gunas in that. The Lord is free from gunas. So Lord takes a body, even if he takes that body as a body, it is 100% spiritual body. There is, in the deity by itself, there is nothing material. Everything is spiritual. because even matter is spirit. For the seer, there is a difference between material energy and spiritual energy. So when he is advanced, then the material energy becomes transparent and he directly communicates with touches the transcendental body of the Lord. The transcendental body of the Lord is existing in every incarnation. So those who are atheistic, they will think, oh, Krishna was killed also like ordinary and he left his body and all and went. They'll think. But if you don't know the tattva, the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, the philosophy of incarnation, the omnipotency of the Lord, how he does this Leela, what is the difference when Lord incarnates and we incarnate? We also incarnate from one body to another body. Lord also incarnate. That's what Krishna told. You have taken many incarnations, I have taken many incarnations. You have forgotten all those things, but I never forget. Why he doesn't forget? He doesn't forget because all the incarnation that he has taken, they are all him only. Now I am only a knower, and it's only in my memory, this body and this life. Next I go to another body, my subtle body is changed. So I don't remember anything. But Krishna doesn't change at all. So all the bodies that he has taken, he will remember. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Ananta Rupam. So this clarification I want. Any questions on this? Right.
So every deity we see, the description is there that Krishna have the flute,
Right.
Krishna have the leg bend.
Right.
But you see, Prabhu, all the deities having the different faces.
Yeah.
All the deities have different sizes.
Correct.
All the deities have. So when we see a personality, means we recognize someone. Like if I recognize you, the picture come in my mind. Oh, MPP is like this. But when we see Krishna in different deities, then different faces, different sizes, different. So in this way, how we can see that the personality having like this?
That is why God person is different from Jiva person. Just like, you have same body, but you cannot take different dresses. Today you will put a red jacket, tomorrow you will put a black jacket. Different dresses you can take. So you look little different, isn't it? Or the same face, you grow beard, you can have hair, you look little different, isn't it? You see, each of these deities, Krishna Chandra likes to be Krishna Chandra. Don't call me Vrindavan Chandra. You go to Vrindavan and call me Vrindavan Chandra. Because I am here Leela as Krishna Chandra. And Radharani of Bangalore, Radharani is Bangalore. Allow me to be variety. I want to be variety. I want to have different faces. I want to look differently. I want to glance differently. This is the opulence of God. Radha Madhava is different. Radha Vrindavan Chandra is different. Rasa is different. Capacity of Krishna. Krishna becomes local. We all want to go to God. God has a tendency to ulta tendencies. God has a tendency to become limited for rasa. For rasa with his devotees, he wants to become very specific. He wants to become limited. So much so that the deities, they expect you to feed them. If you don't feed, he'll be hungry. You cannot say he is Supreme Personality of Godhead. How can he be hungry? Suddenly you cannot bring philosophy. Today I will not offer. Really, he'll give you a slap. So many leelas are there of the deities. They'll take the devotee to task. You are not fed me. You have not protected me. The Lord is a protector of everybody. But when He takes a particular Leela as a deity, He'll say, now it's your responsibility to protect me. Don't leave the doors open. Some thieves will come and take me and go. Isn't it? The Lord likes to, just like, we are always feeling limited. When we see unlimited, we are excited. Now, Krishna is always unlimited. He likes to be limited and live with us and all that. He lives with the devotees. He wants to live with the devotees. So He takes different forms. He enjoys every tiny detail. Oh, He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Oh, He will enjoy this, the way we are doing festival and all. No. Everything He enjoys. Brahmotsa, every Alankara, everything, every festival, every ride, every Pallaki, every Kirtan, everything is enjoying. Who is the supreme enjoyer here? Radha Krishna Chandra. Our deities are the supreme enjoyers of everything here, actual enjoyers of everything here. Who is in Vrindavan? Radha Vrindavan Chandra. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam. Anantarupam He can have, is it not? Why does He have Anantarupam? Tattva is one, it is one personality. But when it comes to rasa, many. So for purpose of rasa, He becomes many. And you should not disturb His rasas. You should not disturb His rasas. Just like when this temple was being designed, we had these 3 altars here. Originally, I had 5 altars. Where the Parikram path is there, that gap, there was Narsimha, that side was Srinivasa. So even base was also built. So five altars, all one place. That whole idea was not there. Front temples and all was not there. It all came later on. And then in the course of some discussion, I learnt this. That here you are in a particular rasa in the main temple hall. That is Goloka rasa, Sankirtana rasa. Now, Srinivasa or Narsimha is in the Vaikuntha rasa, or they are in the rasa of reverence. So what happens in the same temple, same hall when you have, then there is a mixing of rasas. So therefore we shifted them down. Advaitam Achyutam Anadi Ananta Rupam. The Lord has got different forms. Each form is characterized by his particular rasa. And you should allow Lord to enjoy in his specific rasas. It's the same Lord. So that is how, varieties of forms of the Lord. See, we have to identify the personality by the individuality, by the tattva. The one person, that is Govindam Adipurusha. He can have many forms. In fact, if you don't specifically identify by the look of the deities, you are really not, the deities are not happy with you. You are not recognizing, Radharani will say, you are not recognizing the way I look. I look different. I am a very specific look I have. Radharani of Bangalore has got a very specific look. Radharani of Vrindavan has a very specific look. Isn't it? Radharani's opulence. Here I am like this, there I am like this, there I am like this, there I am like that. So when you are here, you have to look at them as they are. Everything, the way they look is absolute. It's absolute form of the Lord, because Lord has taken that form. Near in Vrindavan, that is the absolute form of the Lord. If Lord is acting in that particular specific way, then it is absolute, no? So many, many absolute forms are there of the Lord in His incarnations. So you recognize this reality. You go to different temples, then you see the Lord with that particular specific details. And then it strikes you. Oh, Radharani here looks different. She looks different. She looks different. All not one. Though it is, she is same. Was that your question? Huh?
Yes, bro.
Okay. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जाए, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जाए.